Mortal Kombat 2011, why didn't they just call it 9? The next games are 10 and 11. Mortal Kombat 9 was NetherRealm Studio's first attempt at rebooting the series. After the collapse of Midway, MK needed to come back swinging, and what a hell of a swing it was. The goal was to bring MK back to its roots whilst modernising it. This meant bringing the games back to being a 2D fighters after years of the 3D era. For me, this was the best choice they made. The modern 2D games always feel better to play compared to the 3D era for me. Absolutely loved this game when it came out and remember it being the best in the series. So does it hold up, or should we uppercut it into the flesh pits? If you've seen my other MK videos, you know I'm going to start with the gameplay and break down the story towards the end of the video. First off, this game is still fun as hell to play. It's very pick up and play compared to other fighting games. I'm not great at fighting games, I'm a bit above Button Masher if I'm honest, but I still have a great time with MK9. Each character can punch, kick and use special moves to damage their opponents. But you know how fighting games work. So what does MK9 do differently? This is the MK game that introduced the meter system. The meter is filled by taking damage, blocking attacks and using special moves. The meter has 3 uses. The first can be used when you reach the first circle which has an E in it. It stands for Enhanced Specials. When you perform a special and press the right trigger at the same time, the special will then become more powerful or effective. Take Nightwolf's bow special. Normally he will fire 1 arrow of his bow, but if you enhance it, it will fire 3 arrows instead. It's fun to test out different enhanced moves and figure out when best to use them. Once used, your meter will drop a section. The second section is for combo breakers. This one is simple but useful. Press the right trigger when being hit and you can interrupt the attack. Useful if you are stuck getting hit in a combo, hence the name. Once the meter is completely filled, you can perform an X-ray attack. This was the game that introduced these moves. They are a single flashy attack. They do a massive amount of damage. They may not be as flashy as in later games, but are still really sick. When I first saw these in 2011, I thought they were so cool. When you press both triggers and land the attack, a short animation will play out. The area will go dark and the characters will become black and white. Then the attacker will hit the opponent, it will go slow-mo and zoom in on the attack. You'll see the inside of the bodies where bones will break or organs will be smashed. It's so brutal. I think X-ray attacks are done better here than they are in MK1. In that game they are long and you will probably see them a bunch because they are not tied to your meter but your health bar. And if you miss, wait a few seconds, you can try again. Here they are fairly short, just 2 or 3 hits. The fact they are tied to your meter also stops more experienced players seeing them a lot. You'll want to use your combo breakers and enhanced specials more than your X-rays. Also if you don't land your X-ray, you've just wasted your entire meter. It's a good risk and reward system. It takes a bit of time to get a full meter, so you shouldn't be seeing these X-ray attacks a lot. Maybe once or twice during a match. They can still get repetitive though, every character only has 1. So you will be seeing the same animations play out if you're sticking to one character. The fact I haven't played this in over a decade, I can still remember how most of the X-rays played out speaks to this fact. The meter system here was a really good change for the MK series. It adds a layer of strategy to the combat that wasn't there before. I like when the meter is tied to the triggers, it's very intuitive to use. Combat here feels a lot faster and satisfying compared to MK vs DC. The Gore has been brought back, so each hit feels punchy when it lands and blood comes flying out of the characters. I love the character's damage system as well, which I forgot to bring up in MK vs DC. As you fight, your character models will get more and more damage, showing wounds on the models and ripped clothes. By the end of 3 rounds, the characters can look really fucked up. It's a great system and makes combat feel more brutal. I don't understand why they got rid of this in later entries. Special moves look cool and distinct. They're easy to pull off with some just needing 3 inputs, like left X for Scorpion Spear. Characters don't have too many specials, just a handful. This makes it easy to learn the moves so you can use them in combat more. It's a very beginner friendly game, at least compared to the other fighting games. There is even a really good tutorial which isn't too long but does help you learn the basics of combat. It's surprising how well the core fighting holds up compared to the newer entries. Honestly I think I prefer how this game plays compared to MK1. I had a really fun time here, but we haven't talked about MK's most iconic feature, the Fatalities, so how are they? I'm happy to say they still hold up. They are definitely an improvement compared to MK vs DC. It feels like they knew how disappointed people were with that game, so they went out of their way here to step it up. Each character gets 2 Fatalities. Almost all of them are creative, gruesome and over the top. They haven't got the same cinematic style of the later entries, but are still a blast to watch, mostly. Don't get me wrong, there are some duds, but that's the same for every entry. The amount of times I got hit with nostalgia as I knew what Fatalities were coming speaks to how good they were, at least for the time. Kung Lao and Noob's Fatalities are especially brutal. I bet if I just say Noob's Split Fatality, a lot of you are going to remember it. That's how memorable some of these are. I like how short they are as well. They're normally about 10 seconds long, which is nice. Brutal and to the point, stops them getting too repetitive. They're easy to perform as well. Unless it's one where you have to press up at the start because that makes you jump and not perform it. Fucking Jade's second fatality. It's not even a good one if you do manage to perform it. When you go into the moves list, it will tell you how close you need to be to perform it, which is very helpful. But for stage fatalities, it just says various. Just not helpful. They all seem to be started with an uppercut, so why are they all not triggered by being close? Speaking of stage fatalities, they make a return. They're fine. A nice way to finish off your opponent. Not every stage has one, so you'll have to try it out and hope it works. Lastly, there are the Babalities. You turn your opponent into a little baby. These are cute and normally funny. My favourite is Sub-Zero peeing himself, then freezing the pee, and then slipping on it. Just a fun little inclusion. Well, that's the core gameplay. Let's talk about the roster. This is the best MK roster, hands down. Look at all these characters. The game is a retell of the first 3 MK games, so it's made up of characters from their roster. It has all the classic characters: Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Freddy Krueger, Jax, Melina. Wait, Freddy Krueger? What the hell? And Kratos? This is before they went a bit over the top with guest characters. Freddy and Kratos are a nice pick as they are both brutal characters. It's just a shame it's based on the reboot Freddy and not the classic one. This game, for me at least, has the best design for characters in the series. When I picture MK characters, this is the design that pops up in my head. All of the characters look like they should. Like, there are only a handful of not great outfits here. Each character has at least one great outfit, mostly 9s and 10s across the board. Scorpion's outfit is a 10 out of 10, Shao Kahn's outfit is a 10 out of 10, Jade and Katana outfits are a 10 out of 10, Melina's default outfit is a fucking 11 out of 10, her best design ever. You're just saying that because of the sex appeal. No, I genuinely like their outfits, part princess, part assassin. And they have sex appeal. We need sex appeal back in MK. Like, does anyone really prefer how these characters look in MK1? Whenever I play the newer games, I always hope the characters will have unlockable MK9 outfits. These are just peak here. You asked me to picture Liu Kang and it's how he appears in this game. Same for the rest of the characters. Except for Reptile, he just kinda looks weird here. Like his face is more of a bird than a reptile. Like he's hiding a little beak under the mask. Well, I'm clearly losing it. The arcade costumes for some characters are also a lovely add-on. Each character comes with their own playstyle. Some have more range attacks, some are better up close. Some have a focus on teleporting. It is fun to experiment around with each character. What can you do with these characters then? There are a few different modes to play. First is the classic arcade ladder. Fight through 10 opponents and lock an ending for your character. The endings here are a lot better than in MK vs DC. They aren't just a single still image. This time they use 2 or 3 animated panels. A simple step up, but it makes a big difference. They are all kind of what if scenarios. Some are good, some aren't. The fun back in the day was trying to figure out which one of these could be canon in the future. Now looking back, we know which ones are and which ones aren't, so it's a little less fun. Like Jade's ending goes nowhere in later games, so it feels a little pointless in retrospect. Some characters' endings can cross over with each other, so Liu Kang's ending is him becoming a fire god like in MK1, but we find out in Shang Tsung's ending, the power goes to his head and he needs to be stopped. It's neat. I really like Scorpion and Sub-Zero's endings as well. Scorpion gets revenge on Quan Chi and Sub-Zero teams up with Scorpion to take on the bad guys. A nice reward for beating the ladder. You have to beat Shao Kahn to beat the ladder. He is so difficult. This is back when fighting game bosses were just allowed to be unfair. Unblockable attacks, he gains armour, can spam range attacks, and his X-ray does a ridiculous amount of damage to you, whereas your X-ray does basically nothing to him. He also stops just to taunt you sometimes. He's such a prick. I love it. It's hard, but not unbeatable. Every time I managed to beat him, I was ecstatic. It feels like if you play on normal, when you get to them, they up the difficulty one. There is also Tag Ladder, basically 2v2 matches instead of 1v1. You can tag characters in and out and use them to extend combos, similar to the cameo system in MK1. I don't know why you wouldn't just put these tag matches in every game. I can't imagine it'd be that much more work to implement. Unique to this game is the Challenge Tower. This is a ladder that has 300 missions with their own gimmicks and modifiers. They start off easy and get more difficult the higher you go. I could never finish all 300 missions as a kid. Some missions will have it so you are constantly draining health, or you can't use special moves, or you can't jump. There are also some that change up things drastically. Some will have zombies charging at you and you will have to fire at them before they get too close. These missions can be really creative and even have unique characters that appear in them. The reward is an almost naked Melina. I'll leave it up to you if you think that's worth it. The tower also has a bunch of test your minigames. There's the classic Test Your Might and Test Your Strike, where you have to mash buttons so you can break a statue. Then there is Test Your Sight, which is just follow the ball. These are kind of just whatever. I don't think anyone rushed out to get this game to play follow the ball. My favourite mode is Test Your Luck. At the start of each match, a bunch of randomly selected modifiers are chosen, and you have to try your best to win. This can be stuff like the game being flipped upside down, control changes, characters missing their head, and one or both characters having turbo. It's a really fun shake up to the gameplay, and it sucks it's not in later entries. Then finally there's the Krypt. This is where you spend the coins you've earned. You walk around this creepy area, find a gravestone or torture device, spend your money on them, and you can unlock a variety of things like outfits, artworks, fatalities, and secret codes. It's a groovy little thing that should always be in an MK game. Right, MK1? Graphically, the game looks good for a 2011 game. Character models are detailed, Gore looks fairly realistic, environments are gorgeous, lots going on in the background. The bridge is a standout map and you can see why they keep bringing it back. Audio-wise, the game sounds good. The sound effects from fighting sound impactful. Voice acting is super, no one stood out as doing a bad job. Shao Kahn sounds suitably evil, Scorpion sounds demonic, and Raiden is as good as he always is. Voice lines can get repetitive though. Every time you start a match they will say the same thing every single time. Melina saying, "Let us dance," is etched into my brain. Raiden saying, "Thunder takes you," is also stuck in there as well. Luckily you can skip these intros. Time for the story. First, non-spoiler thoughts. It's very good for the first 2/3 but kinda loses it towards the end. It's a retell of the first 3 arcade games. It has a lot of story to cover and it nails most of the plot lines, but some don't get the time they deserve. Like Jax getting his arms is kinda skipped over. The story definitely feels like it's in a rush to get to the next part. I think if it just focused on MK1 and 2, that would have worked out better as you'd have more time to explore each character's story a bit more. Cable gets introduced, has a few cool moments, and then is basically gone. Same with Striker. It's like the story wants to cover everything but ends up skimming past too much. I don't want to shit on how the story is structured too much. This is the first major cinematic story mode for a fighting game, so I don't want to be too harsh. If you see my other MK videos, you know I don't like how you were stuck playing the same character for 4 fights in a row. It just takes out any surprise of who's going to win the fight, and how they have to come up with some reason to get the characters into 4 fights instead of a natural amount. The cutscenes are very cinematic and well shot. It's well acted. It feels like an action movie from the 90s, which isn't a bad thing. It is filled with fan service for long-time fans of MK. The gameplay is the same as the ladders, except a lot of fights will be 2 versus 1. You versus 2 opponents. This can be a bit of a difficulty spike. They aren't super hard, just feels a bit unfair at times. The story is definitely worth at least one playthrough. Honestly, it makes me annoyed at the actual MK movie we got. Like, why can't you just adapt this story? It works well here. Trim a few characters and plots and it could be epic. Why focus on a character that's not even in the game? Hopefully the second one will be better. Anyway, I'm going to break down the plot. Skip to this timecode if you don't want spoilers. The story starts off at the end of Armageddon, which is really cool to see. I used to love watching that game's intro, so seeing it referenced here is neat. I also like the details that characters are in the same place they died in that intro. Like Shang Tsung is still near the top and Liu Kang is still a zombie. This game confirms that Conquest mode wasn't canon. Too bad for you, Taven. It does make me ask how Shao Kahn and Raiden are the last man standing. Shao Kahn gets taken away by Onaga in that intro. I guess he fought his way back. Shao Kahn has won and is about to kill Raiden. But before he can, Raiden manages to send a message to his past self using the broken amulet. He must win. I really like this setup. It reminds you of Save the Cheerleader, Save the World. You'll be thinking, who is he? This question remains interesting for the whole runtime. Does it mean Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Kung Lao? If I want to be a bit nitpicky, I would say maybe say the name of the guy instead of he, or don't send the message so far back in time when it's not actually relevant. But I get that wouldn't be fun. He was also about to die as well, so maybe he wasn't thinking too clearly. We then see a bunch of images of events of the past games as the message is sent back in time. Past Raiden receives the message just as the tournament is about to start in MK1. The amulet cracks. This is used to show visually if the future will change. If it breaks all the way, Raiden has failed. I like this touch. It's a little ticking clock stressing Raiden out. So here we are back at MK1, but it's not a one-to-one. There were way more characters here than there was in that game, like Nightwolf and Baraka, which I'm a big fan of. It builds up the world with more characters that get introduced in later games, who would have probably been in the tournament, so why not add them here? The game jumps right into the tournament, which is a bit rushed for me. Like, we start off with Johnny Cage. How did he get here? He introduces himself to everyone, so he didn't come here with them. Did he think he was getting paid? He just assumes you know these characters. That being said, this is still a good entry point into the series. You'll get enough of what's going on and what the characters are about. Johnny insults Shang Tsung, so he forces him to fight Reptile as the first match, then Baraka. This isn't how tournaments work, but I don't think this franchise ever understood that. Johnny is pretty funny here. He tells everyone he's going to take them out. Then when he gets to Sonya, he says, "I'm going to take you out for dinner." They really get the character during this story. After beating Baraka, Shang Tsung says finish him, but Johnny doesn't want to kill him. I bring this up because it slightly bothers me. I assume he says finish him after every match, but no one seems to die. I get that the good guys not killing people, but why don't the bad guys do it? Liu Kang is the only one left by the end of the tournament, so why is everyone still alive? You aren't supposed to think about it, I guess. Liu Kang asks Raiden what does he see in Johnny, and he says he's a hero, he just doesn't know it yet. Which seems like they're setting up Johnny to be the hero of the story, but he kind of gets sidelined later on because of how the chapter system works. He can't be the hero towards the end of the game because you are playing as him now. Johnny tracks down Sonya to hit on her, but she ends up hitting him. Kano shows up and throws Johnny off the bridge. This might be the worst stage thing in the story mode. Kano throws him off to one side and Johnny appears on the other. Then when Johnny ends up back on top of the bridge, he's so far away from where he just was hanging from. It's kind of jarring. After beating Kano, Sonya and Johnny become friends. Sonya tells him about her rivalry with Kano and how Jax is locked up on the island somewhere. Sonya manages to find Jax but is caught by Shang Tsung. He makes her fight Sub-Zero. Raiden shows up to help, but Sonya fights him because of the rage. No, we're not doing that again. But her fighting him here feels a bit forced. Raiden helps Sonya and Jax escape by blinding Shang Tsung. Brother, you can teleport people, why are you so useless? After 2 more fights, Raiden, Johnny and Liu Kang show up to help. What took you guys so long? Raiden heals Jax. This is where they form a group. Raiden tells them about his visions and they all agree to help. It's the next day we get a cool intro for Scorpion, where he tells everyone he wants Sub-Zero's head. Raiden finds Kung Lao hiding in the crowd. He is jealous that the Shaolin monks chose Liu Kang to represent them instead of him. To prove them wrong, he challenges Scorpion to combat. This is allowed. This isn't how tournaments work, Shang Tsung. Someone take him off the committee. Scorpion then kicks his ass. I guess the monks were right. Why did the developers hate Kung Lao? Always getting shafted, even in the newer games. Nightwolf tells Scorpion vengeance isn't the way, as his people have been victims as well, which is a nice moment. Rain has visions of Scorpion killing Sub-Zero, in turn making Noob, so he tries to convince Scorpion not to kill him. He will ask the Elder Gods to bring Scorpion's people back to the realm of mortals. Does he mean bring them back to life? They can do that. Why doesn't Raiden ask people to come back to life more often? It's kind of a dick move on his part if he can do this. We then see a human Sector and Cyrax talking about the Cyber Initiative. Cyrax is against it and Sector is for it. Scorpion is then forced to fight them both 2-on-1. So there are just no rules in this tournament at all. Sub-Zero shows up here. It is the moment Scorpion has been waiting for. Sub-Zero says, "To hell with your clan," and Scorpion replies, "No, to hell with you," and takes him to the Netherrealm. A cheesy line, but I love it. Scorpion beats Sub-Zero. He was going to keep his word and not kill him, till that snake Quan Chi shows up and convinces him to do it by showing him artwork of his clan and family being killed by Sub-Zero. It reminds you of that bit in Kill Bill. You can see Scorpion getting angrier and angrier the more he watches it, which is a nice touch. He does the Darth Vader no! Sub-Zero also sees the flashback and says that isn't me, but Scorpion is too pissed, takes off his mask and does his MK1 fatality on him, I'm assuming. It cuts after the flaming skull head is revealed. We then cut back to everyone who has been standing around chatting, which is funny to think about. Scorpion then appears and holds up Sub-Zero's skull and drops it. It crashes to a floor in slow-mo. It's a very well shot moment. You can see Scorpion is kind of upset they let the rage get the better of him. Raiden and Cyrax have a chat about how the Lin Kuei have been making bad decisions. He also says that if Outworld wins, that means the end of Earthrealm and the Lin Kuei. Did you not realise this, Cyrax? Were you not fighting for Earthrealm? Are you this thick? Cyrax is supposed to kill Johnny Cage but changes his mind after Raiden gives him a disappointed parent stare. This causes Sector to fight Cyrax. He's not pleased, he isn't following orders. The Cyber Initiative will fix that. This story gets put to the side for now. We then get introduced to Ermac. Shang Tsung is like, he's a bunch of souls put into one being, look at him. Ermac is very underdeveloped here. He's just another goon for the heroes to fight. Liu Kang must fight him because he's the only one of Earthrealm's combatants left. What happened to everyone else? I get we don't need to see the whole tournament play out, but I still think a game where it's a normal tournament could be cool, and we see each fight and how that affects things. Maybe in the next inevitable reboot. Liu beats Ermac. Liu? Sounds wrong not saying Kang. Liu. Rain assumes he must win is referring to Liu Kang. When alone, Kitana attempts to assassinate Liu Kang by walking up to him and punching him. Great plan. This obviously doesn't work. Kitana is defeated by Liu Kang. She asks him to kill her. Shao Kahn won't tolerate failure from his daughter. Liu Kang tells her no one has to know about their fight, and how he wishes they can meet again under different circumstances. I think we got a start of a lovely relationship here. Liu Kang then mops up the rest of the tournament. He fights Goro and Shang Tsung and wins the tournament. This stops Outworld from invading. Kitana gives him one last glance before they all return to Outworld. Raiden checks his amulet and it cracks more, meaning Liu Kang was not he. This wraps up the MK1 portion of the story. It's a good retelling of the first game, considering there wasn't too much to go on, besides character bios and endings. Characters that weren't in that game are weaved into the story well. The MK2 story starts out in Outworld. Shao Kahn is about to have Shang Tsung executed for failing to win the tournament. But like the weasel he is, Shang Tsung manages to get out of it by coming up with a new plan to invade Earthrealm. The good guys are celebrating at the temple when a younger looking Shang Tsung appears to challenge Raiden to another tournament. If Outworld wins, they can absorb Earthrealm. If Earthrealm wins, Shao Kahn will give up trying to invade forever. Raiden doesn't accept this offer, so Shang Tsung opens a portal and an army of Tarkatans come rushing in. Jax jumps down to fight them but quickly gets overwhelmed. Like that wasn't the Brett's idea, mate. By the time Jax wakes up, Shang Tsung has kidnapped Sonya and Raiden has decided to agree to the tournament to stop the attacks from Outworld. Raiden has a vision of Liu Kang winning the tournament. He concludes that because he was wrong about his last vision, that Liu Kang must not be he, so who else could it be? Raiden, Johnny and Jax arrive in Outworld. Sonya isn't there, so Jax rushes in. Raiden shouts, "Wait, this is a tournament." Like, yeah Jax, there are rules apparently. Jax wins the first fight in the tournament. The three decide to go look for Sonya but get lost. Jax has a fight with Johnny which feels forced because Johnny just wouldn't shut up. Like, grow up you guys. Jade shows up and says the armory is restricted and loses to Jax. But at least they know where they are now. Yeah, Jax's chapter isn't great. They manage to free Sonya. She gets a heavy technology reader nearby, which is strange for Outworld. They split up to investigate. Raiden goes with Johnny. He tells Johnny to stick as close as a shadow and twice as silent, which I thought was funny. We get a smooth transition where the two dots on the map become Smoke and Sub-Zero. They quickly establish that this is Sub-Zero's brother, and he has taken up the mantle to honour his brother. They are here to investigate how Sub-Zero died, because Cyrax and Sector didn't tell them for some reason. Which I don't get, why not just say Scorpion did it? I guess because they were working with him, but still. They would have been better off lying and said Raiden or Liu Kang did it, so they would try to kill them instead. Sub-Zero then appears to walk into the ocean. Kitana shows up to fight Smoke, which I would have skipped over, but when Smoke wins he says, "Where there is smoke, there is fire." Why did he say this? She's unconscious. It's like they needed him to say something but didn't know what. Smoke then fights Kano, Reptile and Shang Tsung, who are out testing weapons. Yeah, this is another chapter where the 4 fight rules kinda hurts the story. These fights just feel pointless. Smoke is then jumped by Sector, who has become a cyborg. He is about to be taken by him when Raiden interrupts. He has a vision of Smoke becoming Cyber Smoke, like in the arcade games, so puts a stop to it. Which leaves me wondering, if he didn't have the vision, would he have not helped Smoke here? Smoke teams up with Raiden and Johnny. If Sector is looking for Smoke, he is going to be looking for Sub-Zero as well. We then cut to Sub-Zero being jumped by a cyborg Cyrax. They got him too. Personally, I would have liked to see them become cyborgs, but I guess we didn't have time for that. Sub-Zero defends himself. Jax and Sonya show up a second too late to see Cyrax teleport away. They tell him Scorpion killed his brother. Ermac then appears because this is his pad. Jax rushes him again, but this causes him to lose his arms to Ermac. Which is like, okay, you know he was going to get his robot arms at some point, but Ermac? If this gets paid off later down the line, I'm fine with it. But I can't remember if Jax gets revenge. He certainly doesn't in this game. Sub-Zero beats Ermac but doesn't help Jax. He's kinda like, I don't really want to get involved. He tells him there's a portal nearby they can use. I guess that's him helping? He then heads to the arena, where Kitana is fighting some dude. Like, who the hell is this? This guy is like, I fail, kill me. This reminds her of when she failed to kill Liu Kang, so she doesn't kill him. It's weird how Kitana of all people gets the most character development out of everyone. Sub-Zero demands a fight with Scorpion and gets one. He manages to beat him, but before he can kill him, the cyborgs show up to take him away. Raiden and Smoke show up, but Raiden stops Smoke from trying to save Sub-Zero. He's like, they'll take you as well. Raiden, my guy, you could probably save Sub-Zero though. The cyborgs ask Shao Kahn if they can take Sub-Zero in exchange for the Lin Kuei's loyalty. This bit confuses me. I thought they were already working for him. Also, why did they need to ask his permission? Sub-Zero isn't a part of the tournament, he just crashed it. Why would he care if they took him? So they take him to be cyberized. I feel like this Sub-Zero story kinda got rushed. Just as he's introduced, he's gone. Shao Kahn chews out Kitana for not stopping the ninjas. Raiden sees this and says Katana's faith is a slender reed bent before the storm. Okay Raiden, who are we trying to impress? He thinks he convinced her to join the good guys. Raiden tells her to go to the flesh pits. She asks him why, and he says, "You must find a true path alone." Do you like not being helpful, Raiden? Whilst in the pit, she discovers a clone of her, Melina. She beats the clone and takes Shang Tsung to Shao Kahn. Instead of being mad at Shang Tsung, he's very happy with him. Shao Kahn tells Kitana that he is not her father. He killed her dad and took his queen as his wife, which is just messed up. Now he has Melina, he has a true daughter. So is he shooting blanks or something? Why can't he just shag someone and have a child the old-fashioned way? I feel like it's because he needs someone that looks like Kitana to keep the Edenians happy. But I also feel like Shao Kahn wouldn't care about that. This is where Jade has a chapter where she tries to rescue Kitana. She doesn't end up saving her because more guards come. Kitana tells Jade to find Raiden. She does. As you can tell, I didn't really think a lot of this chapter. Jade tells Raiden that Kitana will be executed. Liu Kang isn't happy that Raiden won't go and rescue her because they need to get back to the tournament. Liu Kang says it's Raiden's fault she got captured. And he's not wrong, to be fair. The Shaolin monks go to rescue Kitana. This is where Noob is introduced. They do not make a big deal of this at all. Kung Lao is like, "Oh, you look familiar," and that's it. Not a strong intro for this character. They find out Kitana has been moved to the arena. When they get there, Raiden tells Liu Kang that he's the only one left to fight in the tournament. Liu Kang is a bit bitchy about this and says, "But I'm not the one who must win?" So catty. Because Liu Kang won't fight, Kung Lao takes his place and maybe he's the one that must win. As someone who has played all these games, I can tell you he definitely isn't. To be fair to Kung Lao, he does win his match against Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
Stop this deadly alliance.
Of course they have to say deadly alliance. He even beats Kentaro, but he gets a bit cocky and Shao Kahn snaps his neck from behind. This still is quite a shocking moment. Surely this is cheating though, right? Why don't the Elder Gods step in? It is also a surprise to now be playing as Liu Kang, as we have already had his chapter. This is what I mean about the chapter system. This bit works so well because you're playing as a character that suits the story moment, not just because it's their chapter. This is the first time I faced Shao Kahn in this game, and he absolutely kicked my ass for a few fights. When you do manage to beat him, Liu Kang slow-mo punches his fist through his chest. So cool. This moment is kind of ruined by Kitana showing up maskless. Is it just me or does her face look weird here? Raiden takes responsibility for Kung Lao's death. He must win must have referred to Liu Kang beating Shao Kahn, right? Wrong. His amulet cracks more. This ends the MK2 section. It's okay, it just has way more filler fights than I would have liked. Chapters like Smoke and Jade feel a bit pointless. On to MK3. It is revealed that Shao Kahn is still alive because of Quan Chi. Shao Kahn blames Shang Tsung for their failure, which seems like cope. Quan Chi suggests there is another way to invade Earthrealm. Quan Chi explains that Sindel is the reason Shao Kahn can't step foot on Earthrealm. Sindel put a spell on him, so they can't suffer like the Edenians did. Quan Chi reckons he can bring Sindel back to life, thus breaking that spell. He can also make Sindel loyal to Shao Kahn. With her resurrected, the invasion of Earthrealm can now begin. We then cut to Earth where the invasion is underway. The cutscene style changes to a handheld style, which is cool. Makes you feel down on the ground with the characters. It also makes the invasion feel big and impactful. We then play a striker who looks cooler than ever. He's joined by Cabal. They are trying to hold off Outworld's forces. Raiden shows up to help and kills Motaro. I don't know why they did Motaro dirty like that. Kentaro appears to burn Cabal with his flame breath. It feels like we're just rushing things now. We literally just met Cabal and he's already transformed. I would have liked a little more setup is all. After getting distracted by Ermac, Nightwolf shows up to recruit Striker. Cabal has been taken by the time they get back to him. Turns out Kano is trying to fix him up in Outworld. Cabal used to work with Kano before he turned into a cop, so he was trying to help him by making him look like a freak. Cabal isn't too happy with this, so beats him up. Kano tells him the only way to leave Outworld is through a portal. He takes him to one, where they see the bad guys reacting to Motaro's corpse. It cracks me up how Shao Kahn says, "What is this?" Like he's annoyed that he's dead and not upset.
What is this?
Sindel volunteers to take Motaro's place, but first Shao Kahn sucks the soul out of Shang Tsung and puts it into Sindel to power her up. And from what I remember, this is the end of Shao Tsung, at least for a few games. Cabal decides to get into a few fights instead of running straight to the portal with his super speed. He does make it to the portal eventually where he's jumped by Cyber Sub-Zero, which I remember being a cool surprise when I first played through it. You unlock him to play after you beat him here, which is a really cool feature. We need more secret unlockable characters in fighting games. Raiden and Smoke show up to recruit Cabal. Smoke has a moment lamenting Sub-Zero. They take him to Jax, who can hack into him and get rid of the slaving protocol. Real subtle name. Also, the game doesn't make a big deal out of this, but Jax has robot arms now. Like, not even a mention. It just feels like, well, it's not his chapter, we can't give him any focus now. Anyway, as you can imagine, Sub-Zero isn't happy about being cyberized, so he agrees to go undercover in Outworld. This doesn't really work out. Sector clocks on immediately he's broken free of his programming. After Sub-Zero beats him, he hacks into him and finds out what they are planning. Outworld are using captured soldiers to power a massive Soulnado. Instead of sending everyone, they just send Nightwolf to help. But before he arrives, Sub-Zero has a fight with Noob, who reveals he is the original Sub-Zero. Quan Chi restored him. They have both been turned into monsters, but Noob doesn't regret it, so they fight. This is a cool moment in the story, but again it just seems to be happening a bit too fast. If Noob interacted with Sub-Zero before he became a robot, that could have helped build to this moment. After the fight, Sub-Zero says, "You're right, we're not brothers." Like, are you not going to try and save him? The Soulnado is almost at full power. Nightwolf shows up and tells Sub-Zero to go because his soul isn't safe. I don't know, you could have used a hand, Nightwolf. Anyway, he manages to stop the Soulnado by kicking Noob into it. This whole Soulnado doesn't really fit into the flow of the story well. It feels like we need a reason for you to play as Nightwolf for a bit. The amulet cracks even more. Raiden takes Liu Kang to see the Elder Gods. I don't know why he takes Liu Kang. I know he can't be here for what happens next, but still. Whilst they are gone, the good guys get surrounded by Lin Kuei. They manage to hold them off until Sindel appears, and this might be the worst part of the story. Sindel manages to take out all the good guys with ease. She kills Cabal, Jack, Striker, Smoke and Jade. This is fucking ridiculous. I get you need to up the stakes, but Jesus Christ. Have her helped by a few people at least. She doesn't kill Johnny or Sonya for some reason. And she's about to kill Katana but is stopped by Nightwolf. He sacrifices himself to kill Sindel. How strong is Sindel? She's only been in the story for like 30 minutes. The Elder Gods refuse to help. They say Shao Kahn hasn't broken any rules. There is no rule saying he can't invade, he just can't merge the realms. Which I don't really know what the difference is. He could just conquer Earth and he would have actually won. I think he becomes a god or something if he merges the realms. Bloody useless Elder Gods. Raiden and Liu Kang get back in time to see Nightwolf sacrifice himself. Katana survives just long enough to tell Liu Kang that she wishes they had met under different circumstances. Which is a nice callback. She then dies. Liu Kang blades Raiden, which honestly, I don't think he's wrong. Raiden decides he's going to try and team up with Quan Chi. Liu Kang says Raiden is losing it. He's getting really desperate. I also feel like Raiden should know Quan Chi isn't going to team up with him, but we need to have his 4 fights. Raiden goes to the Netherrealm and offers the souls of the fallen, as well as his own, to Quan Chi. But he already has them. This is Shao Kahn's payment to him. This is where a sick part happens where you have to fight 6 of your fallen comrades, which was really cool. Raiden escapes to where Shao Kahn is entering Earthrealm. Just before this, he realises what he must win means. If Shao Kahn tries to merge the realms, he will have to face the judgment of the Elder Gods. He has to let Shao Kahn win. Liu Kang isn't having any of this, so he fights Raiden. If they beat Shao Kahn before he wins, the 3D era games happen. Raiden accidentally burns Liu Kang by blocking his flame powers back into him. This ends up killing Liu Kang, which was very shocking. Up until this point, Liu Kang was always kind of the hero of the series, so to see this hit for me when I was younger. Shao Kahn has officially made it into Earthrealm. Shao Kahn beats Raiden the same way he did in the intro, with it flashing back to show this. A very cool directional choice. Just as Shao Kahn is about to kill Raiden, the Elder Gods show up and power up Raiden. They speak through him and say Shao Kahn has broken the rules because he merged the realms without winning in Mortal Kombat. Raiden then fights Shao Kahn. I don't know if they upped the difficulty or what, but man is he solid. This took me way too many times when I first played it. After I finally managed to beat him, the Elder Gods explode Shao Kahn, leaving nothing but his helmet. Earthrealm is saved, the future is changed, but at what cost? Almost every good guy is dead. Raiden goes with Sonya and Johnny to help rebuild. We get one extra bit where Quan Chi is talking to Shinnok. Everything has gone according to plan, setting up the next MK game, The End. MK9 set the standard for fighting game story modes, messy, bloated, but unforgettable. And honestly, I'd rather have too much crazy Mortal Kombat than not enough. Ultimately, I had a really fantastic time revisiting Mortal Kombat 9. It still holds up. The combat is as fun as ever, the characters and fatalities are cool. This is the definitive MK experience. If you want to get people into the series, this is the game you give them. Let's rank it. This game is top tier for me. I think number 2. Eternal Darkness is a great game, I just don't have the connection to the characters like I do with MK. I also just have more fun with the actual gameplay overall. So it's above that. But I think DMC3 just beats MK9. DMC3 has a great story, great combat, great characters. So yeah, new number 2. If you made it this far, can you let me know if you'd like to see me cover MKX next or Injustice? I assume this is going to be a long one when I edit it, so thanks for watching this far.